Joining me now is the centerpiece, the last coach on the interview line, Coach Toby Foreman of those Shoemaker Gray Wolves, and a big game up for him tonight against the Harker Heights Knights, and it's always a battle, always a great game. Might be overtime, might be double, might be triple overtime, who knows? You never know in this ball game. These kids love to play against each other, that's for sure. But we had to go back to last week over Bryan, and Ross was looking for a victory, and unfortunately you were the one that he got it against.
Yeah, I was the victim, and I will say this, that I said this going into the week. They were probably the best team in the state of Texas with the record that they had, but they had a lot of injuries and they were getting people back, and so I look for them to continue. I mean, they're a good team. They're not a bad team. Now, bottom line is we didn't play up to the Shoemaker Gray Wolf standard, and that's the problem. But I mean, you got to go in and week out in this district, and anybody can literally beat anybody. I think Coppers Cove and Bryan both proved that last week. I mean, it wasn't an easy task. We went to Coppers Cove, 2 weeks ago. So, if the kids aren't focused and ready to bring it each week, anybody literally can beat anybody in this district.
So you got to forget about that on the bus ride home and get ready for those Harker Heights Knights. It's always a crosstown battle. You never know about this game before we start recording it. It's overtime. Could be, no telling what's going to happen. Meteor hits the field at halftime. Unbelievable events have happened at this ball game.
Put it like this. This is going to be our first home game on the home side of the stadium. That's unbelievable.
That is unbelievable.
And we're in week 7. And we were already supposed to play in the stadium like 5 times. So whether it be water lines busted, weather, clouds busted, whatever the situation, people couldn't get across a border. Yeah. I mean, just unbelievable things have happened this year. But I will tell you, the last 2 years, this matchup has been an overtime matchup, and it's also been a matchup to determine who wins the city type situation. So we're not to that point yet, and our main focus is definitely on Harker Heights. But, they've got a great team, and they've got some really, really good players. Marcus Maple, it seems like he's been here. Him and Terrence Carter seem like they've been here since I've been here. I mean,
yes, I think they started as freshmen.
They played against me maybe when they were 8th graders, because this is my 5th year. But those guys can go. They've got the experience. DeAubrey Hood, a DB, he does a great job. Coach Hood, I mean, it's mom and dad are both coaches in the district. And then Rayshawn Sanford, I mean, he looks like, I don't know who to compare.
I can't either, because
a combination
of steps and
Adrian Peterson and Billy Sims, and that's good for you, two Oklahoma guys.
But the way he just stops and changes direction is just more like Sims than I guess would be the closest.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm going to try to see if we can get him a college to offer him a lot of money to go ahead and tap out and go straight college before the end of the week, because, man, he is impressive.
1,100 yards rushing on the year already.
I mean, and I talked to Coach Edwards. He was like, he only plays about half the game because they've just mauled most of the people they played. So, I mean, you can't say enough about Rashawn Sanford. You better wrap him up, and you better do it with more than one person, because he's not a guy that gets tackled by a single individual most times. And so it's going to be, it's going to be difficult. Their offense is really, really good. Also, Amir Washington, he's a 2-year starter. He plays some in the backfield. But defensively, it's kind of a bend but don't break, mentality is what they have over there, and they score a lot of points. They're very, very reflective of us the last 2 years, that they have a lot of skilled guys that can do stuff with the ball in every position on offense, and it makes it difficult because you can't just key on Sanford, or you can't just key on Blake or Maple or Washington. You got to you have to play really sound in all positions.
Yeah, is it kind of like, I'm just going to throw this out there, probably, this kind of the adjustments were made at halftime the other day, OU Texas game the other day, and they shut off the outside where they forced their quarterback into a narrow pocket where he had to make a decision. The only thing there is Sanford. You got to stop him before they can do that.
Here's how Oklahoma won the game, and I'll just go ahead and say it. They got out Rattler, and they put the backup in. That's what happened. The adjustments were not were not the difference.
No, on defense,
so that's what
they
it is.
brought the pressure in the inside. They put Casey in a position where he had to make a decision quickly.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I do agree with that. I think this. There will have to be multiple defenses played against this offense. You can't just stay in the same thing. Nobody in the state of Texas will be able to stay in the same defense against them, because they have good coaches over there, and they'll figure you out, and they'll figure out what weapons that they can utilize to make that defense suffer.
Is this a game where you put the spy on a certain player?
Well, and
I
that's
keep a guy keyed on him all the time.
Well, we got number 6. We got him started. He's the first player on my scout team board. We start him 5 times because I think he's a Division I, can't miss prospect because he can the running back and you flex him out to receiver. He reminds me of he's a lot faster extra is kind of what he is. But he's got similar type of wiggle, and he's got great ball skills at the receiver position. So you just really have to account for him. He's the number 1 guy. I mean, there's no secret. I mean, I think Coach Edwards knows that going in every week, I think everybody's game plan is to slow down number 6, and then you look up and he's got like 6,000 yards rushing in the first half, and he's resting in the second half. So I don't know what his stats were last week, but I think they were north of 250 and 5 touchdowns. So it's just going to be, we got to show up and play really, really well on defense.
Well, trying to get the edge stretch of field out vertically against him.
Yeah, I mean, they
defense wise.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, they there's some things that they do on defense that we feel like we can attack, but at the same time, we can't turn the ball over like we have in the last couple of weeks. I mean, that's the turnovers have killed us. The 2 games we've lost this year, we've had 3 or more turnovers in each of them, and we're not good enough to overcome that. The games that we've really dominated and done well, we haven't had as many turnovers. We've had either 0 or 1 turnover. That's kind of who we are. If we have 1 or less turnovers, we have a good chance to win any game. If we turn over a bunch, this game last year was 51-50. We had 1 turnover. I mean, so you just can't miss opportunities against them. They've been very, very, very good offensively for the last couple of years, and I think that carries over. It's a confidence thing. Kind of like us here. I mean, you could tell last week that things were different because we just weren't. It was so many 3-and-outs, and we punted 4 times. We haven't punted 4 times since 2019.
Wow.
So I mean, it's just it makes it difficult if you're not clicking on the offensive side of the ball on our end, and I would imagine the same thing for them.
So how's that into practice this week? How the guys look?
Practice has been good. We've got a couple guys that are getting healthier that have been injured. We've dodged the rain twice. That's a big deal. But other than that, it's been a clean versus clean ISD rivalry week, and told the kids stay off social media and focus on the fundamentals and focus on our academics. Is a grading week as well.
They can go check out the stats if they want to online.
That's exactly right. Exactly.
I've got those up for them, but it's going to be a great game as always. I've done a few of these now, and it's especially the past couple of years, like you said. Really looking forward to a battle on the field between these 2 giants. It's going to be a great one. I can't wait. I know you're ready to get on the field too. I know these kids are ready to play it too.
Kids are excited. Let me also give a shout out. Thursday we have our freshman teams are both undefeated. Freshman A teams are undefeated, 6-0, 6-0. So this is a big one right here for at all levels. Coach Edwards' group has 3 teams. At sub-varsity teams with A teams with winning records, and we have 2. And so, like I said, it's going to be an exciting week overall, and we're excited about the competition. And like I said, two programs that doing things the right way that are kind of clicking right now.
Yeah, building.
Yes,
well,
sir.
I wish you good luck, and I don't think you need. I think it's going to be another close ball game, brother.
I think you're probably right. And as always, go Gray Wolves.